Yeah, and I'm very intrigued actually, because with the way that Thunder Awaken banned out in their second phase, it felt like a ton of that was just to cover this Tusk and maybe give you a little bit of flexibility in case you didn't want to end up going for it. But then the Enigma does just slip through. So now Cringe Crew have what is going to be Naga Mirana and Tiny Enigma. They've got two of the best lanes, period, in Dota. So they should be very happy with the way those first 10 minutes go. It's just a matter of whether or not they can hit those rotations now. Not to mention, hey, we got Song Black Hole set up. We've got the thing that everybody talks about doing but never actually does in a pro game. Now we just need a pretty bog standard mid laner to go versus the Tusk, and then I feel like Cringe Crew honestly have some of the best heroes in the game. My confidence is through the roof right now. Cringe Crew's got something good going on.
They've drafted themselves into a nice position, and I do like you mentioning the Enigma Tiny Lane, because some people might look at this and say, "Oh, maybe there's still the option for the core Tiny," especially since I believe Cringe Crew have a different stand-in here instead of Sooths, so someone who might play that Tiny, but I mean, I don't really think that you want to, right? You would sacrifice what's a pretty solid laning setup. You would be giving up the chance to maybe pick up something to go against the Tusk a little bit more strongly, so it feels like Cringe Crew picked the Tiny in Phase 1 to act as that bait, and now it's served its purpose. They'll just run it at the 4.
Yeah, and it just works. And of course, they don't have last pick. It's funny because the side with the pick order for the first time in what feels like forever doesn't match up. So Dire doesn't have last pick this time around. Radiant has first pick. It looks funny. Usually you're not allowed to get Dire and last pick, but pick order be damned. But no, we'll have to see now because Cringe Crew, they're just looking for something that's going to win versus the Tusk. Puck ban kind of has to come out. Anything that's going to make this Tusk miserable is still the objective here for Cringe Crew, and it's what Thunder Awaken are deeply going to try to avoid. But that's also where, if it is going to be that Enigma Tiny lane, great, cool. Tiny needs a Blink Dagger. Enigma's got a 3-minute ulti. We need somebody to set up plays with this Mirana now is going to be how Cringe Crew get through the tough parts of this game. And if they don't find a good hero for that, well, then we're going to have some problems because at the opposite side of things, Thunder Awaken are that fight all the time. The longest ability they have right now is 60 seconds. They are looking for that constant fight where they will push you to your limits, and then you will constantly struggle whenever you don't have Black Hole. So I think Cringe Crew, they just need a big aggressor here to play with the rest of the team, and somebody that can hopefully set up and create a little bit more space for you.
The question at this point is what is still available to them, because Thunder Awaken did knock off quite a few options, right? No Lesh, no Ember, Puck, Lina, even I don't think it would have been super likely, but even the threat of maybe a mid Pudge all been taken away. So if Cringe Crew are looking for something, there's still options available. It just feels like they're going to be kind of picking between someone with high damage or high movement. I'm not sure there's anyone left in the pool that will give them both to the degree that they want.
You know who does have high damage and high movement, though? The Beast. The Beast is still in the pool, and I
Aw.
would love for Cringe Crew to run it versus Tusk mid because, I mean, you step on him. It just works. It's
Mm.
cool. It's a little bit sad if the Tusk ever gets an Ags, but I feel like that's probably the hero that would tick the most boxes from me from Cringe Crew, but no.
Okay.
Go for the boring pick instead. A hero that will very successfully be able to play versus the Tusk, but again, now even though you have a little bit more damage to play with, you kind of fix the problem that you had with the Naga Siren Enigma where your damage is pretty slow. But now, again, a lot of that pressure is going to be on your offlaner in your 4 to start your fights for you because Zeus is damage. Damage is damage. Damage is good. Not to mention Zeus versus Tusk. It's a pretty hard kill for that Tusk to ever get. You just pop over the shards. No big deal. But this is, again, going to need to be a standout performance from the supporting cast. Otherwise, you will start to fall behind. High ground's great from Cringe Crew, but
True.
aside from that, if they ever want to be the ones in the fast seat, well, that's going to be a different story.
It's not a lot of playmaking coming from the cores until later on, right? With the song and the black hole. But even those, I guess technically speaking, the Enigma could just jump in or blink or BKB and pop a black hole just off of his own merit, but a lot of the time, even when you have the items, you are looking for the setup, not just sending them in right off the bat, as Thunder Awaken close out their lineup with the Deuce pick. So, yeah, your lockdown's a little bit light. You have these big team fight ults that you need to put together. So let's take a very tanky hero in the Deuce who can farm in between your cooldowns and honestly is pretty damn hard to kill even if you do get one of those big spells on top of her.
Yeah, and that's like, I think, Smiling Knight hero number 4? Something like that. I think he's played a different hero each time, so, flexing our EU carry a little bit here. Even though I think in the same vein as the Medusa, probably didn't want to look at a hero like the Gyrocopter, even though I think that was available all the way up until the end there. Just don't want to play any weak ranged heroes versus the Zeus anymore. It's where Zeus, especially versus heroes like Shadow Fiend, just makes it an almost impossible matchup. Zeus is the exception, because she's got pseudo HP, because, Mana Shield, it'll work. It is a little bit of a scary matchup versus the Naga Siren, of course, because if Naga ever gets a Scotty, or is even toe-to-toe with you, Scotty versus Scotty, the illusions will just kind of beat you eventually. So it's kind of a scary situation to be in if this game ends up going a little bit too late, but we'll have to see, because Thunder Awaken have pretty great answers versus everything else, and I think them getting the Beastmaster versus Enigma, they are happy if this game does end up, because you can't just solo black hole the Medusa. You will just get countered by the Tuscan, the Beastmaster.
They've got the tools at their disposal to counter the plays, avoid the plays, kill the opposing side if they decide just not to go for it at all. So we'll see if they can put it together here as we are getting this game underway. I think he just say, yeah, Alone just said have fun, Thunder. Alone, you are on Thunder.
Well, some would say he is Thunder. He was the only hero, or the only person on Thunder for months. But
just, maybe that was supposed to be team chat, not all chat, or maybe he's just all chatting a little encouragement to his own team just to throw your opponents off. You never know, right?
no, you never do know. That's the best part. Being clueless is great, but we'll have to see. I'm even just analyzing Cringe Crew's their name tags right now, because their roster looks a little bit different. I feel like it has looked a little bit different every single day. As Flea, oh boy, gets charged off. No good way for Michael to actually find the Bushwhack, but okay, the clip's not going to do it. He even skills a Acorn Shot, and that will do it, but not exactly what you want level 1, but yeah, he just couldn't find an angle with the Bushwhack, so he just didn't.
Well, at least they get the kill, and hopefully it doesn't take Michael too long to hit level 2 and just kind of get the build up that he wants anyway. So, see how this goes. And again, I did mention in the draft here that they were playing on the Cringe Crew side with a non-Sooth's stand-in, which I say it that way because technically speaking, Sooth's already is a stand-in, so stand-in for a stand-in. We got Nico, who, aka, I believe this is Red 2, so yeah, they've been playing with Seuss, I think, every single series prior to this point, but not available today.
Yeah, unfortunate, even though I will say, if Seuss was here, we would have had a pause already. Yeah, I feel like that's his maybe pre-game ritual. As soon as you load in, make sure you have 115 ping instead of 120, and then we can lane.
Well, regardless of the player, the Zeus versus Tusk matchup is still gonna be a bit of an interesting one, because Alone, he's gonna do things like this. He's gonna try to play aggressively. Don't just sit there and let the Zeus use his Arc Lightning to just last hit efficiently. So the downside of that, of course, is if you're playing aggressively to try and slow him down from farming, you're also putting yourself in danger, because Nico he's gonna do damage, right? So Alone has to take those trades, but he has to actually win them for it to matter.
And I like that Nico is postured so aggressively, because not only does Zeus have damage, but he has good base damage. Zeus is a great laning hero, and of course, you do that, the attack slow, it's very annoying to last hit against. Also, kind of shockingly, no pun intended, Alone didn't start with a stick. He really greeted out for the bottle, which makes a little bit of sense because you got the Coin Blade in his inventory as well, but it just means that all of this damage is just damage that's felt. You don't have that buffer with having that stick early.
Bottle will help, but would love to have both in the next minute or two. At the same time, down bot, there's going to be a little bit of a combo coming out the net into the arrow. Arc, aka Realm, sets it up. The Warden gets the kill, and well, this is really the first time today we've seen the shoe on the other foot there for the Hoodwinks. Normally you're the one making that sort of setup play. This time, Hoodwink actually has to be careful defensively.
Yeah, and yet again, Naga Siren, just annoying hero. And that play is just bulletproof. There's no way to mess that up aside from maybe a hero diving in front of it to try and tank the arrow, but he will be very happy because that play is really cheap as well. Once the Warden gets a little bit more mana, and they can just go for it again.
Meanwhile, up top, Smiling Knight. This is going to be kind of an interesting setup. The Enigma comes in, has the Eidolons. You saw Knight just a Mystic Snake on him. Try to clean him up quickly. Excel came in with the Nova, and 2 of the 3 Eidolons just kind of died right then and there. So that is going to be rough for Sunlight. If he loses those Eidolons, your lane just kind of doesn't exist. He's so dependent on having that extra firepower. Ooh, firepower though,
Nice
Excel.
toss.
Yeah. Have a toss combo. They do split the kill there. I think the creep got in for the last hit, but doesn't matter too much. It's still gold in their hands.
Yeah, and Knight just hit level 3, and okay, good split, but it's one of those situations now where with level 2 Snake, you've got 4 bounces, which means that the actual Enigma needs to be careful. If the Enigma can ever split, though, and has 6, then the Medusa actually cannot do anything versus the split, or the already split Eidolons. So that's really the only goal that he can play for, but Enigma do what Enigma do. He still has, 12 denies, because that hero is great.
It's very, very good at last hitting at this point, as we have seen repeatedly. Of course, even the best hero in terms of last hitting can only do so much to deal with a Dusa who's really not getting pressured. 27-9 for Smiling Knight, so no. You're not going to be able to shut him down entirely. Just slow him up as much as possible. Although Flea, want to be careful here. Level 2 Mystic Snake is actually still not that much damage, so Flea's able to walk out, but they can keep the Tiny at arm's length, make sure he's not pulling any other shenanigans here, trying to maybe block up some camps, then more space for the Dusa.
Yeah, and they're just doing a good job right now protecting each other. The Medusa is just sitting there, stacking the large camp probably, but also just bodying to make sure the small camp pull happens, because Sunlight just pulled an entire creep wave, and I think denied almost 2 creep waves behind his own tier 1, because Smiling Knight triple waved him. So a little bit of XP lost there for the Medusa, but the pull happens, and then all back under control.
He got most of a single stack there for himself, so some nice efficiency plays there from the Tiny, and back down bot. We'll see if they look to make this combo happen again. They're kind of setting up for it. The problem is, well, it's going to get harder as this goes on, right? You'll have Hawk and Boar up a little bit more often. Even got the Siege creep in the wave, so it's just... It's a play that's pretty hard to mess up if you do have your alignment correctly. It's just there's so much in the way right now that maybe you can't quite pull it off, which is part of the reason why the Warden really just used that last arrow for a last hit, because not in a great spot to take the fight just yet.
Yeah, they were just waiting. They would have loved to go maybe one more time before Illich had his Helm of Ironwoe in his inventory, but it doesn't come through, and then you also get to see Illich with 2 points up in Wild Axes. Those mirror image illusions do just die incredibly quickly, so no tricky business here. As alone, yeah, first rotation of the game.
Well, the arrow actually hit him there, so he is stunned up for a bit. Shards, though, still come through, so Ark's got a sidestep, but they don't have the mana. Alone has nothing left to throw out here, so it looks like the Naga Siren is going to be able to walk away, ET, and the Warden's going to be just fine as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, they are looking for a play onto the Crystal Maiden. Yeah. They set it up. Nico comes in with the Thunder God's Wrath to finish the job, and they will find the kill.
Yep, pops his Arcane Rune before it too, so that's only going to be 80-second CD. He's going to have it right back. Very happy with the way this has all turned out. Ton of gold now for the Zeus. And with Alone whiffing, he is not ready to rotate by any means. Nico is just going to farm and just, try to be as efficient as possible on Zeus. But the more you can push in that mid wave and the more you can scout out what Alone wants to do, they're trying to force another play with him right now. And if this whiffs, he's going to be really sad with his early game.
Is he even really going to try anything here? You saw them go north at the sort of start of that smoke play and then kind of brought it back around. Looks like he might actually be focusing the Naga Siren instead.
Nice ward.
Give it a go. Bushwhack will connect first. Clears through the illusions. Gets the Walrus Punch down. Pig Pull, though, is going to be used. A little bit of extra move speed, but there's that Snowball making the connection. They've got the stun, but they still need more damage. Arc somehow still not dying. Avalanche comes through from Flea. Nico now joining the fight as well. Illich is going to try to get it done with the axes, and he'll snipe it out from long range. My god, that was not even remotely close to a clean kill, ET, but hey. They got it done eventually. As the Warden, you are a little late to the party, and he's got to use all his leap charges to get out, but he will.
Yeah, and immediately you get the pings out. You know that they've got at least one of those high ground wards, just because that was a little bit blatant how easily they were able to find the Naga Siren in the jungle. But then he goes back and gets the farm. But a deity rune on Alone, this is probably the most important rune you could get on Tusk. He is ready to kill, and if he finds the Enigma, he has to get the Enigma in one shot, though. So I think that's why he peels back so quickly, because he knows that if he doesn't kill him, well, then you're just going to get black holed underneath the tower, and then you feed to the Enigma instead.
Right. Not quite worth the risk at this point, but he continues to hold it. So, DD Rune does not have to be used just yet. Something's coming out to him on the courier. Yeah. Boots upgrade for him, which I don't know. It's not massive, but it is going to get him a little bit more to work with damage-wise, so maybe once he has those picked up, he looks to make some sort of play here. The question is, really, where does he want to go? We have not seen him look top really at all in this game, and oh, hold on a second. Nico gets spotted by Michael in the jungle here. The Snowball may not actually connect, but the Shards will. But the root is there. The arrow will follow. They actually lock Alone down. There's the Thunder God's Wrath. Oh, boy. That is the worst possible scenario there, actually. Yeah, Alone, no kill, gets caught, DD Rune wasted, Courier sniped out at the end as well, so once he respawns, he still won't have those phase boots, and give a kill over to the opposing carry.
Yeah, just a little bit too aggressive, and also inadvertently allowed Cringe crew to connect with their heroes. So just a stroke of bad luck, you could say. Give him the benefit of the doubt, but oh, he's immediately back in it, though. Looking for Nico, and he will get the shards.
Yeah, this time Nico doesn't have as much backup, but he does still have some. Flees in. Ava. Nice snipe from Michael. Able to get the sharpshooter down, and maybe they can kill Flea, too?
Definitely.
Oh, well, with the Bushwhack missing, it's a little bit tougher, but yeah, Alone's got the damage, so they find the pick. They eyeball Sunlight. Realistically, yeah, Alone, you don't have anything left to hit him with, but 2 kills. Nicely done. Alone able to bounce back after that little sort of setback on the opposing side, and well, he's still not able to buy anything because his courier's still dead, but at least he gets some of his money back.
Mm-hmm. Gets to walk that one out. Gets to be happy with his situation, and Alone's even still fiending in the top lane, hoping that maybe Sunlight walks back here, because now that he's got a level 6 Hoodwink, well, Sharpshooter's enough damage to kill any hero on the map that Cringe Crew could be showing, but Sunlight's just a little bit too privy to what's going on here, and we'll just farm passively instead.
Let's kind of step out of lane, leave it empty. Meanwhile, Illich, that's not where you want to be. He's going to get hit up by the Ensnare. He's got a little bit of damage to throw here, but unless he uses the Roar, he's definitely going down, and he'll just hold it. Really didn't have much of an escape plan, even if he did commit the ult, so he's got to eat the death. Be a little bit too greedy farming that deep into the opposing jungle.
Yeah, and maybe a nice little bait there by the Naga, just having the two, what could be illusions running at you. You know, you never think it's coming to kill you until you're dead, and feel like
whoops. That is a whiff on the black hole, unfortunately. It's kind of funny there. the hesitation, right? He hit him up with the Malphus first, and if he had Black Hole immediately after, it would have connected, but he wasn't really sure if he wanted to. Then he makes up his mind, and by that point it's too late. And while that went down, a pick play on to the Tiny gets Michael a little bit of extra gold. So find a kill. It's only a support kill, but the most important aspect is now there is no Black Hole for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, just nice play all around. You defend your jungle. That was when the Tiny went down. He was just trying to scout out some stacks, but found a Medusa and all the supports instead. So kind of sad for him. But now it's finally time to get pressure on these tier 1s. I think both offlaners are raring to go here. Of course, without Black Hole, Sunlight might find a little bit more contention, but at the same time, he has a Wraith Pact. He's got max level Malefice and Demonic Conversion. It's probably just time to trade these tier 1s away.
Alone doesn't really look like he wants to get overly involved. Never mind. He's pushing straight in for the kill. Michael is going to channel out that snipe, and they'll get the kill, but it's going to come at a pretty hefty cost. That's Thunder God's Wrath being deployed for the kill, and I think the timing was a little off there. The supports were TPing in, but Tusk is in before either Michael or Excel are really established into the fight.
Yeah, and at the same time, look at bottom. Naga, well...
Oh, he got the song off. The Warden's here, but I don't really know if he wants to do anything. Yeah. He's going to try to get away. Not enough range on the axis to go for it again, and Cringe crew dodging a bullet there. That really did look kind of rough for them. They might still lose a hero elsewhere on the map, though. Sunlight is not getting away, as Alone will catch him again. Flee? They might just dive the tower for this one. They are going to go in after him. No abilities up on Alone for a few seconds, but they continue to push their way in. The Acorn shot gets the kill. Now he'll snowball out. And I don't believe Arc is going to get the vision on him to get the ensnare down, so... Okay. Maybe they don't get the Naga Siren kill. That is unfortunate, but they're at least able to find some pickoffs elsewhere and keep themselves out in front.
Yeah, they just start moving around, make sure that nobody goes down, and, well... They don't actually get that tier 1 top just yet. Instead, the Enigma will have to venture up there, and of course it's free once he actually makes the rotation, but then your mid tower is getting hit by this Medusa, who very naturally just takes over the mid lane while that Tusk gets active. So Thunder Awaken kind of hit their stride here, and the Zeus will finally come back, but mid tower's under siege, and with the Lance, I mean, there's no reason for Knight to go anywhere. And there we go, free tower.
It for free, cleans up the wave, takes out an illusion or two, extra money, and the trade does happen. Sunlight is eventually able to get onto that tier 1 himself, so as you said, once you make the commitment, you're pretty much guaranteed to get it, but control of their side of the map is starting to go a little bit here. The push into the west side jungle is going to steal away their Ancients, and the way Illich is posturing here, he's kind of looking to hunt onto somebody. He sees Flea. I don't think he knows everyone else is here, but the arrow just missed. Illich is feeling pretty confident, but now he sees this is a party that I don't think you really want to go by yourself. He's backing off. Nico doesn't want to let him go, but if they overcommit, this could get a little bit rough. They are still going after Illich, but the root is going to be there. Oh god, the Black Hole still comes through, but maybe that wasn't a great idea. Immediately able to kill off Sunlight. Now here comes Knight into the fight, popping that Stone Gaze, locking these heroes down, slowing them up, giving himself the move speed bonus, and they just roll over. Well, not quite everyone, as Flea and the Warden will presumably TP out. That's just the supports getting away. All the cores got caught, and they all got killed.
Yeah, just on the low ground, they dragged themselves just a little bit too far. They even ran away from their own high ground ward there, just overextending themselves, and then unfortunately, you realize that we don't have Song. We don't have our easy get out of jail free card. That should have been really a low risk play from Cringe crew, because they could just Song out and walk away, but instead they get caught in the long timing. They really don't get all that much farm top, and with the tower already claimed, just a pretty ugly rotation from them. While Thunder Awaken, they were farming while they were moving that entire time. Alone mid, well, everybody's about to converge on him, but...
They know he has no Black Hole, though, so they're really not that afraid of taking this fight. Well, they're not getting the kills all that quickly, and maybe not getting them at all. In fact, Excel's the one to go down. Eventually, somebody's got to hit Sunlight here. There it is. They will find that first kill, and now they're going to go for more. Flea hit by the snowball, will be taken down. He was able to toss Knight away before he died, but he tossed him onto the Warden, who couldn't really do anything with that setup. So slow play to develop, but eventually the 2-for-1 goes the way of Thunder Awaken and ET. Now they've got what looks to be a pretty damn free Roche attempt.
Yep. Tag team, Helm of the Overlords on its way right now, but it doesn't really matter. And my goodness, everybody is just so farmed. All the cores are doing just fantastic on Thunder Awaken's side. First Aegis should probably be Alone's, but we'll see, because honestly, there's no bad option here. Even the Beastmaster, to a certain extent, could find value on that item, but they just plainly give it to the Medusa. A Medusa who, again, has eclipsed anybody in this game, and especially the Naga Siren, who is still barely scraping towards that Manta style. Meanwhile, the Medusa is, you know, one ultimate orb deep into her Scotty already. So
Yeah,
there's just no looking back for Knight.
very nearly doubling up the Naga Siren's net worth. Not a great sign, but Cringe Crew up to try and hold. That's not going to help, though. Sunlight's getting caught again. Still no Black Hole for 50, and yeah, that's the way Alone's going to want to play this. If you don't have Black Hole, he's just going to hunt you down every single time. Speaking of hunting, getting a little bit spotted here. Meanwhile, in the jungle, they actually spotted the Naga, so they go for her rather than the Tiny. Of course, Alone, yeah, had to wait a second for Walrus Punch to come up because he just used it on the Enigma, but they will get both kills. Now, gonna drop a Sentry. Yeah, they're not gonna chase it any further. Honestly, they got the kill that they wanted, and Flea just, unfortunately, is standing too close to his carry when he gets spotted, really.
Yeah, I think even, unfortunately, tossed him at the end there, and, well, they just glyphed, meaning that now they won't have glyph for their tier 3, so this might be Thunder Awaken's time to push at least up onto the tier 3, and, well, they're going behind. Oh, the Zeus!
It goes low. Can they save him? He is dropping, but he's not dead yet. Instead, they go for Sunlight. He's got Black Hole. He's gonna How is this possible? That's 3 straight Black Holes that have either...
And they call it.
Yep, okay. GG called. That's 3 straight Black Holes either whiffed or immediately canceled. And, yeah, there's not much more to be done there. You, aren't really going to be able to recover too nicely from that.
Yeah, and, well, Thunder Awaken in the draft, they find the balance, they have the active heroes, the Medusa pick fits the bill perfectly, and then, in 19 minutes, they still hold the record for the shortest game in this tournament so far, but I did not think it would be that dramatic, though, but Cringe Crew simply not talking, not really making too many plays. I feel like the one notable play was when they got that kill bottom at level 2. I don't know, just not a lot of Dota actually ended up going down here, and Thunder Awaken just playing the exact opposite. Much more active, way quicker, always where they needed to be. A very well-deserved victory, but I don't know. Again, very dramatic fashion.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we can't take too much credit away from Thunder Awaken. They play a fantastic game, short as it may have been. But the focus at the end of this one, ET, has to be on Cringe Crew not being on the same page, and realistically speaking, putting together a lineup in which the requirements execution-wise were already really high, right? And then the timing's a little bit off between them, and it all just kind of falls apart. So, I don't know. For Game 2, maybe you don't have to up the tempo. Maybe you could survive the early game in the next game, but you need something that doesn't put you so unbelievably attached to those cooldowns.
Yeah, or even just... It's hard to say just play better, but they really just need to do that, because we liked the draft. We liked what they had. We liked everything. You know, maybe the Zeus is a little bit more passive than I personally had liked, but you know, stand-in situation, might as well go for some type of play, but instead it just ended up being a little bit too brief, I think, even for them. And I think maybe come Game 2, try something a little bit more active, maybe look for Red 2's Pango or Leshrac early, and then turn him into the engine for you to win your game, because I think at the end of the day, the easy thing to tell that Cringe Crew were lacking is they really don't have a great win objective. And I think that's where Thunder Awaken, they had a very concise way to do everything in Dota. They know how they're going to kill buildings. They know how they're going to get Roche. They know how they're going to turn that game into a win. Cringe Crew didn't have any of that. So hopefully Game 2, they can get some new ideas in.
See what that draft looks like, because something is going to have to change, either draft-wise or execution-wise, for Cringe Crew, as they're going to get ready now for the second of 4 games that they're playing today. So we'll see if they can just put this loss behind them, get it out of their minds, regroup in time, or if Thunder Awaken are going to get that 2-0 sweep. So we will be right back with that Game 2 draft in just a couple of minutes.